All right, everyone. Welcome to another best ball draft. Probably going to do a couple of drafts on stream today. Going to try to really get some more entries into the puppy. Just going to let some people know that we are live. Let's pop open the YouTube chat here. All right, draft is underway. Drafting from the 112 again. Same spot we drafted from as last night's stream. Oh, Quattro Watcher in the building. What's up? Little goat emoji. My man. Glad you're in here tuning in. I'll pull up the draft board here. Just letting a couple more people know that I'm live here so we can get some people tuning in. Oh man, what's up, Quattro? How you been, brother? What do you think we should do with these first two picks here? This is where I'll be drafting from the home league, so if we want to get one of those home league mock drafts in, let me know. Up in one pick here. McCaffrey off the board. I started two wide receivers yesterday from this spot, and I just got sniped on everything. What's up, Luke? Appreciate the comment, buddy. Neighbors goes. I think we will do HN. Let's check the exposures real quick. $10 Brian Thomas, 4% Amon-Ra. Let's take Amon-Ra. Want a little bit more Amon-Ra exposure. Luke, Quattro, let me know if you guys are down for a home league mock draft after this puppy. I'll do a little best ball recap if you guys aren't familiar, but basically you draft a team. Big dog, we're gonna make some money. That's the plan, man. The plan is right here. We want that 100K. That's what we're shooting for. This is with you guys watching. This is the 100K team. I feel it. But basically, you get put in a lobby of 12 people. You draft against them. You compete against them for 14 weeks. Turn up the mic volume. I can do that. We're going to start getting a little bit of background noise in there. Trying to keep the fan noise to a minimum, but we'll set at that. But like I was saying, you get put in a lobby of 12 people. You draft and you compete against them through weeks 1 through 14. After week 14, the top two scores across the year advance to the next round of week 15. That's where you'll get placed in a random pod of 10 people. You have to beat all of them in week 15. Same thing in week 16. Then you get put in a 375 seat final for week 17. So week 17 is all that matters. That's where all the money is. See here, if you make week 16, you only get $100. Make it to week 17, you get $750, and then you get some nice jumps all the way up to 100K in first place. So these are just $5 entry drafts. I put about 50 into the first puppy that they released about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So we will see how things go here. I'm anticipating probably doing 50 entries into this tournament, and probably stick with 50 entries in all the subsequent puppies that they release throughout the year. Everything seems pretty much par for the course in terms of how this draft is shaking out. A little bit of a early go for Rashee Rice here, but would not really surprise me. I mean, he's already really flipped T. Higgins, so I think this is a pretty flat tier from, about 15 all the way to 24. Up in 3 picks here, so let's start getting an idea of what we want to do. Kind of starting with running back and receiver, we're pretty free to do whatever we want. I like the idea of grabbing Lamar here. And maybe we can do, oh, never mind. Lamar is gone. We are not going to do Lamar anymore. Well, Devontae Adams, pretty easy click here for me. 6 spots after ADP. The next question is, do we want to go quarterback or take another receiver? We'll be back up at 60-61. Pretty good range. We'll probably end up taking a receiver and a running back as well, so it doesn't really matter what we do here. Let's go ahead and... yeah, let's take Jaden. Get some of that rushing upside, just looking at the stacks available to us. Goff and Stafford are not really guys who are going to get a ton of rushing yards. So we can get some rushing elite QB upside with Jaden. And being at the turn, we are pretty susceptible to getting sniped on our stacks anyway. So going elite QB will let us be okay with only taking 2 as opposed to 3 quarterbacks. Pull up the draft. I gotta get, it's a bad habit of me not pulling up the draft board. I gotta remember to pull it up for the user experience. I think one of my stances this year is kind of fading the elite tight ends. I don't want to full fade them. I want to be in that 4 to 6% range to kind of cover myself if they do go off and have a big year. I think not that long ago, I mean maybe about a month ago, Brock Bowers was a mainstay in this 13 to 16 range, and he's been falling kind of in the recent weeks. I mean, if his new price settles around here, then I probably will get up to 8% Brock Bowers, and kind of cover myself if he does have one of those Gronk-like seasons where he pretty much maintains what he did in his rookie season from a catches and yards perspective, but, he just happens to catch 13 touchdowns this year, and he is the Raiders' red zone threat. how does the stream look from you guys then? It's telling me the stream status is poor. Is that something you guys are seeing? Is it a little choppy? All right, back up here in 3 picks. I'm not really dying to pull up Debo to stack him with Jaden. I think I'm okay with taking Trevion Henderson. And we'll stay on brand, and we will keep firing Chris Olave here. I think if you guys tune in and watch me stream a lot, you're going to see me draft Chris Olave a lot. This guy we were taking like 1-2 turn last year, had some concussion problems. But, you know, posted 2 yards per route run all 3 years of his career. Guys who do that are elite. Very strong track record of guys who can do that, being good target earners and fantasy performers. Obviously, situation's a little scary with Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener at quarterback, but, I mean, how much worse can it be than Derek Carr? And I do have some faith in Kellen Moore to, you know, put together a somewhat competent offense. Can Kellen Moore put together the 22nd best offense in football with guys like Olave and Shaheed and Kamara? I think so. That's a bet that I wanna take. Kind of just looking ahead to 84, 85 in that ADP range. A couple of guys here that I like Downs. I've not been taking a ton of Mooney. Maybe I should mix in. I will start mixing in some more Mooney. Egbuka, probably not going to be taking any Ayuk till his price goes down some more. Once it's officially announced to people that Ayuk's going to start the year on the PUP and be out like 8 weeks, would not surprise me if we see him drop kind of past this, definitely this Jaden Higgins range. It's tough to say where he'll fall amongst these guys. Would not be like super surprising if, you know, we see him go after Rashad Bateman, which would be like, you know, a round and a half fall for Ayuk from his current ADP, but that's just kind of how the once you get more normies in here. Harrison saying turn up the mic volume too. Let me give that a shot. I'll turn that up a little bit more. Let me turn the fan off in the background to get some of that noise out of here. Let's try that. Is that a little better? I just don't want the laptop fan to get picked up on the audio. Maybe we'll move the mic a little closer too. See if that'll help. All right. Back up in 4 picks here. We have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, and 3 receivers. Jaden Reed would be really nice. Tony Pollard would be really nice. I like Reed. I like Pollard. Let me check the Downs exposure. 14% down. So, I mean, we'll probably pass on downs here. Mahomes off the board. Okay, good. He did not take Pollard. We'll take Pollard. Let's check the Mooney and the Egbuka exposures. I know Mooney's going to be low. Wow, no Mooney. Egbuka 5.8%. Let's take Darnell Mooney. He'll play opposite of Devonta Adams in Week 17. We'll get a little bit of that correlation there. I think looking ahead, 108, 109. Yeah, still some guys I like in that range. Definitely a big teardrop at receiver once we get past this range here. But I'm still pretty okay with clicking on Luther Burden. I had a lot of Luther Burden at his most expensive ADP. So I definitely want to get some exposure to his lowest ADP. Harrison, you still in the chat? All right, we're up again in a pick here. Ah, man, I was really hoping I can get Jaden Higgins there. Well, we'll take Burden. Is it going to let me take Burden? There we go. let's take Mark Andrews. All right, I'll have to figure out the bitrate issue later. All right, back up on the clock here in 2 picks. I've not really been paying attention to the board. Let's go ahead and let's take Bashal Tootin. And let's go ahead and take Rashad White. Oh, what's up, Matt? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the The stream problems keeps telling me that the bit rate is low and YouTube's not getting enough video to make it look smooth. I'm gonna try just playing with the bit rate a little bit. Just gonna like lower it a little bit here. Just lower it to like 1600. Hopefully that is a little better. All right, so stream status is healthy. That's good. Let's hope we keep it there. All right, cool. Hopefully it stays there. After dropping the bits a little bit, we can get back to the draft now. All right, where are we at? We got a 1-5-5-1 build. Oh man, look at this. More unstacked quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford went at 146, 9 spots ahead of ADP. In theory, I should have got him at my picks, but that's not how it works. So I think what we'll have to do is probably just take Cam Ward here with Pollard, and then we'll do like a 3 QB build, a 3 tight end build with like Chig. Is Luke still tuned in? No, I talked some shit about Cedric. Oh my god, he took Cam Ward. This is unbelievable. Are we just gonna have to take Geno Smith? Is that? Oh, I think that might be my first Cedric Tillman share. All right, I guess we'll take Geno. We'll have to find a way to backstack him. Maybe we can do like not Michael Mayer, like Dante Thornton. Whoa, stream looks super grainy. All right, let's try bumping that bit rate back up. Let's pull up the draft board again. If anybody's watching, Can you guys let me know how the stream looks? Does it still look like real grainy? Oh, okay. I just have to change my... Okay. 16 views. Look at that. We're running it up on this stream. We are running it up. Oh, man. And there it is. There's the YouTuber again. Come on. All right, back up on the clock in 3 picks here. I think this is pretty easy. Wandell and Zach Ertz here. Stack Ertz with Jaden Daniels. Wandell opposite of Geno, week 17. Grab Wandell. Grab Zach Ertz. Think that we are... We have to be done either a running back or receiver, and I think I lean being done at running back. Because we want to grab... Where is Dante Thornton? Man, he's all the way up to 190. I mean, he was going undrafted. I mean, pretty unlikely Dante Thornton makes it back to me. But if he were, that would be the pick. Or else I think I'm just looking at a naked Geno Smith. Yeah, I'm just not taking Trey Tucker. Yeah. Well, we will queue up Dante Thornton. And if he doesn't come back to us, then so be it. Again, really frustrating drafting at the turn because you're just really locked into getting sniped at the positions of need. I mean, this guy with Bo Nix, Bryce Young, Matthew Stafford. I mean, he backstacks Nix. Just doesn't stack the other 2 quarterbacks. Slightly frustrating there. Appreciate the text, John, about naked Geno. Yeah, very tough. I mean, the other option was just like not take Geno and then like take Flacco later. It's just like pretty gross. We'll see what comes back to us here with our last 2 picks. I think almost certainly a 3rd tight end is needed. Oof. Wow. We got a huge round fall on Dante Thornton. That is big time. Is Juwan the best option here? Yeah, I think I'm just going to take Dylan Sampson. I think we kind of made the bet that Andrews is going to be a guy again. All right. Recapping this team. Jane Daniels and Geno Smith at quarterback. Devon Achane, Trevian Henderson, Tony Pollard, Bashal Tutin, Rashad White, and Dylan Sampson at running back. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Darnell Mooney, Luther Burden, Cedric Tillman, Wan'Dale Robinson, Dante Thornton at receiver. And then tight end is Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz. Don't love this team. Don't think this is a very strong team. Just kind of feels a little weak everywhere. Doesn't really feel like I have like top end running back talent. Doesn't feel like I have top end wide receiver talent with, kind of Mooney as my wide receiver 4. This feels like a 7th place team. We're going to go into week 13, and this team is like 400 points away from advancing. Can we name this team? No option to name it here. We got to wait for this to finish. All right, we will wait for this draft to finish. Probably just going to queue up another one while waiting. All right, let's fire up another one here. Join another 20-second puppy. Let's check if Cal Raleigh hit a home run. Cal Raleigh did not hit a home run. Quite unfortunate. We hit on Soderstrom. Would have been pretty nice if Cal Raleigh hit a home run. Free roll some more puppy drafts. All right, drafting out of the 8 spot here. Oh, look at that. Davis Maddock in the 101. For those who are not familiar, Davis Maddock is a best ball content creator. Let's name the draft that we just did. Stream draft 7/10/2025. Save that. Pop the exposures back open and have those handy. Think slight possibility Cal Raleigh gets another at-bat. That would be pretty cool. What did he do? His struck out swinging his last at-bat. That's awesome. Well, can't win every bet you place. the clock here. I think we just take Puka Nacua. Good with that there. McCaffrey is just going to keep going earlier and earlier in these drafts. I think the stream looks fine for the most part from what I'm seeing. I mean, my camera's a little grainy, but you guys don't really need to see me. We are on the clock here. Yeah, I'll take Genti. I don't have a lot of Genti, but I'll take Genti at 17. Why not? I mean, you would assume it's got to be a pretty unique pairing. Genti and Puka together. Stream health is back to excellent. Thank you, YouTube. We got any other chatters here? No one since Matt. I mean, Genti at 17 seems like a pretty awesome pick there. Man, Yankees got the bases loaded. One out. Does not seem like Raleigh's getting another AB. Quite unfortunate. Let's see what Davis Maddock is doing here at the 101. Don't believe he's streaming, so he's probably just drafting on his phone. Rashee Rice, pretty on brand there. And Bucky Irving, okay. I mean, I do not have a massive Bucky bull last year. I had like 20% Bucky Irving, but, you know, opportunity cost is quite different this year compared to last year. I think last year he was a 14th, 15th round pick. Adjust the chair here. Up in 2 picks. I do not want to take Devontae Adams with Puka Nacua. Just something that I have done a good amount earlier. So I will take... Oh, man. The bye week bros are not going to be happy about this one. But we will take JSN, and we are going to punt on week 8 here. I gotta figure out how to get some non-copyright music going on the stream, just some background music. Let's see, coming back up to us at 41. I think our options are pretty open. I think the dream would be like, I mean, Yeah, Hurts and Devontae just go right next to each other now. It's hard to really get them unless you're at the 1-2 turn. Even the, it'd be really nice to get him here, but we're on the clock next. McMillan off the board. Would have gone Lamar there. Yeah, I think this is Xavier Worthy here. And I think this is Xavier Worthy just because I'm fading DJ Moore, fading James Cook. I like DK Metcalf. I just don't like the way his profile kind of fits this team. I think having Puka and JSN kind of just raises like the target floor of this team. I think we're pretty confident in the amount of targets that Puka and JSN will get week to week, just kind of being the only guys on their teams. Obviously the Rams have Devontae, but I think we've seen in years past where the Rams just go nuclear with two guys, super condensed offense, and then JSN, right? I mean, if you're a believer in the ghost of Cooper Kupp, you might be a little lower on JSN, but I, for one, think that Cooper Kupp is washed, and Xavier Worthy just kind of gives us access to some nice spike week potential, and hopefully the Chiefs bounce back to kind of that league-leading offense that we've seen in years past. We are back up on the board shortly here, and there it is. There's that Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts stack. Really strong team from the 103. I like that team a lot, man. This is the slappiest 5-round start I have seen. But CD, Marv, Garrett, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. You get that week 17 correlation with CD and Devontae Jalen. We're back up on the clock in 3 picks here. I could take Kenneth Walker. I'm slightly worried about making a really strong Seattle bet. Say Flowers goes. I guess we will just take Kenneth Walker and probably going to be drafting Sam Darnold on this team. So I don't have a lot of Darnold. Praying that we do not get sniped on Sam Darnold. It's going to. I really hope somebody just takes Chris Olave before the next pick gets back to me, because I will click him again and I will just have infinite amounts of Chris Olave. I mean, just look at the names that he's going next to. Jordan Addison is going to get suspended. Chris Godwin, who has a noodle ankle. Jerry Jeudy, who's on possibly the worst offense in football. Deebo Samuel, who is fat. And Jacoby Myers, who's like fine, but, always real excited to take Jacoby Myers. Well, we'll just say the line, Bart. Take Chris Olave again. We will just keep adding to the Olave shares. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't love just being like so polarized in this range, but it's just so hard for me to make a case for any of these guys over Chris Olave. See if I can pull up a little yards per route run chart for Chris Olave. I will say I do like this team much better than the last two that I've drafted from the 112 slot. All right, back up in a couple picks here at 80. All right, up in 2 picks. Sam Laporta off the board. Man, don't love anyone in this range here. Let's grab Josh Downs. I almost grabbed Hawkinson, but I think there's a chance he can make it back to us. No need to pull him up. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. We could even do something like Mahomes and wait to grab Kelsey at 99. We'll need a little bit of a slide on Kelsey, get a couple picks of value there, and Hawkinson goes, which is fine. I'm okay with that, I think. I think we can take Mahomes here and just make a bet that this is the most talented team that, most talented offense, I should say, that Mahomes has had in the last handful of years. Pull up the draft board again. So, I mean, 3 guys have tight ends, so there are only about 4 guys live to take Kelsey. I mean, just would not surprise me at all if Davis is going to snap off Kelsey once his pick is up here. But I think already this is just a much better team than the last one, where I feel good about just my depth at all the positions. I feel like Puka is just one of the top wide receivers, and Genty has that possibility to be a top running back, and Kenneth Walker has proven that he's... Who took Kelsey? Oh my God. I mean, obviously, we can't expect a guy to go 5 picks past ADP every time, but I will still get upset. We always have the Hollywood option open as well, and Brashard Smith late as well. I would like Tyrone Tracy here. Man, week 8 buys. Yeah, I like Tyrone Tracy here, and then, you know what? No, let's do Evan Ingram. Opposite Mahomes in week 17. I like that a lot. I think all of the yeah, maybe Tyrone Tracy was the pick there, and then we just push Ingram to 113. But I think it's important to remember that this is one of those elite, kind of hero running back builds where we got Genty way later than he usually goes. I mean, we have 2 first-round picks on this team. And maybe I take a share of Tyler Warren. Or I grab Justin Fields, like a round after ADP. Yeah, let's do Fields. We'll do Fields around after ADP, and then we'll just shut it down at QB. I think we can have that backstacking option of like Braylon Allen and Mason Taylor. For sure, this will be a 2 quarterback, 3 tight end team. As long as we don't get some crazy value on Sam Darnold, like, we get something ridiculous like round 17 Sam Darnold. Then at that point, it's just like he's adding projected points and you can't really turn that down. Let's see what we got for the Jets. Got Braylon Allen. We got Mason Taylor. Probably nothing else there. We are seeing the Najee Harris slide in real time after he allegedly got his face blown up. I'm actually a really big fan of this this turn here if we can pull off Ty J and Colston Loveland. God damn it, man. Alright, we'll take Loveland. We don't really need him to be at training camp. That doesn't really matter to us. We just need him to be there for, week 10 on, essentially. But that was pretty frustrating, not getting Ty J there. Question is, do we want to go Hollywood? Doesn't matter. We can't go Hollywood. Probably take Garendo here. Let's just take a look at our ADP of our next couple picks, 52 and 61. Yeah, we want to grab another running back before we get to this range. I think a lot of these guys are kind of the same. And Rashad White would have been my other option there, so it makes it easy for us, makes the decision for us. We just take Guerrero. All right, back up in 2 picks here. Well, I was going to take Xavier Leggett. Say, let's grab Tank Bigsby. And then with this next pick, we will grab Braylon Allen. I mean, maybe Eckler was a better pick over Bigsby. I think I'm honestly pretty comfortable just shutting this down at 2 tight ends. I don't really think that we need a pass catcher stacked with Justin Fields. So Sam Darnold at pick 176 ADP. I am most certainly going to see if I can push him to 200. And if I don't get him there, then so be it. The first two drafters have 3 quarterbacks. Third drafter has Jalen Hurts plus Dak. 4 hole has 3 quarterbacks. So, possible that the 5 through 7 drafters could take Darnold before me, but like I said, not too worried if that's something that they're interested in doing. Back up on the clock shortly here. I mean, man, like, are they going to make me take a third tight end in Jonnu? Would like to stay away from another week 5 tight end buy, but it's like, does it really matter with an ADP? Like, okay, good. Thank goodness for that. I'm pretty good with clicking Demario Douglas here. Sam Darnold does go. What does this guy have that he... Cooper Kupp. Makes sense there. Well, if that's the case, I mean, I don't have any other stack partners besides Daniel Jones, and I'm not too keen to be drafting Daniel Jones. So we will have this be a 3 tight end team with Mason Taylor, should he not be drafted before us. I will say for sure grab another running back, just with there being 3 week 8 buys. We'll take Mason Taylor here. Shut this down to running backs and receivers. Thank you for the emojis, Taya. Running back, 100, 100, 100. Thank you for that. Any interest in further elaborating on what running back 100, 100, 100 means? I got you, gang. Thank you. Just running and back. That is awesome. back up to pick in 3 picks here. Think I'm pretty happy clicking Marshawn Lloyd. Nice. Take Marshawn Lloyd. Good with 6 running backs there. And we'll do one more receiver. I took Keenan Allen yesterday. I will take him again if presented that opportunity. I'm not sure what those emojis are, Taya. But I appreciate it nonetheless. I mean, Keenan Allen's got to sign somewhere, right? Man, that would be the nutted run out of getting Keenan Allen on the Jets. And then we got a little Jets stack with Fields, Braylon, Keenan, and Mason Taylor. That would be some cool stuff. All right, we will wait for this draft to end. I will name this draft. And then I'm going to run and get some water, and we'll probably just hop into another one. Maybe we'll do another 2 and hope that I don't get the 112 again. All right, let's refresh the page. We will name this team. All right, another stream draft. I'm going to queue up another one, and I'm going to run and grab some water. Oh, what happened here? All right, I'll be right back. Oh my god, are you kidding me? 112 again? I mean, this is just preposterous. Oh man, that's pretty annoying. Got a little bag of grapes here. Really not even sure what I want to do now at 112 after having 2 of my last 3 drafts being there. Okay, well, Nico for sure. Let's just go Achan again. Well, I mean, 36, 37 up again. It's like I don't really just don't love the wide receivers here. I'm just gonna take Drake London. Been looking to get some more London at 8%. I kind of just want to keep that 8% number. And Nico, I would, obviously would love to be ahead on Nico, so I'll take every percentage point I can take being ahead with Nico. I'm happy with. All right, taking myself off mute now. I'm done crunching on those grapes. up in 3 picks here. I think happy to take whichever quarterback gets to us here. Say, let's do Kyron. Let's do Lamar. Think I'm good with that. I mean, could have done Brees Hall there, but I mean, what are we at on Brees? 15% Brees, 1% Kyron. Right? I've taken him once, so you know, obviously I prefer Brees over Kyron, but I want to have a little bit of humility there. You know, what do we think the most likely outcome with Kyron is, right? It's just that he's just the running back of the Rams again. Let's pop open the draft board again. I know Zay Flowers has an ADP of like 52, I think, so we will need quite a slide. 54. We'll need a little bit of a slide for him to get back to us at 60. But I mean, like, really would be windmilling Zay Flowers as our wide receiver 3, stacked with Lamar, add a value. Would be pretty happy about that. I think this is a pretty interesting start here. Grabbing one guy for each position the first 4 rounds. Not something that I'm typically doing. Jamar Chase drafter's not taking any risks, which I think I talked about this 2 nights ago, maybe it was yesterday, but I just think that that's bad. You know, like pushing Burrow to 72, like people get him there quite a bit. Like, I mean, pretty frequently they're getting Burrow at 72. So what happens when you grab Burrow at 72 versus ADP of like 49? I mean, his ADP has fallen quite a bit. It used to be in the 50s. You know, now it's fallen like 61. But those teams that are pushing Burrow to the 6-7 turn are just supercharged because they got the guy that you took in the 5th a round later, and they've got an additional 5th round pick of some other guy. So, like, frustrating. There goes Zay Flowers. You know, they're grabbing Devontae Smith and then still getting Joe Burrow later versus who are they going to grab at 72? Like, you know, Jacoby Myers or Ricky Pearsall, right? Like, I like the 2v2 of, you know, Joe Burrow and Ricky Pearsall. I don't like that as much as Devontae Smith and Joe Burrow or George Pickens and Joe Burrow. Ken Walker does go. I think we're going to lean into the... Well, we're going to take Juwan to... Okay, good. Olave goes. We're not going to take Olave in all 4 puppies. That's good to know. Now, the question is, do we want to take Kamara or one of the rookies? I'm going to say let's take Trevion Henderson. Yeah, let's take Trevion Henderson. 10%, Trevion Henderson, and Harvey is 11%. So pretty even on both. Did I take Trevion Henderson in the last one? No, last one was... last one was Genty and Walker, and then before that I think I took Harvey. Oh, that's taking forever to load. Either way, I want to be even exposure to both of them. I did take Trevion Henderson. Probably should have taken Harvey, but I'm behind on Trevion Henderson and Harvey, and like Kamara. I think I've taken a good, yeah, okay, maybe I lied. I think I've taken more Kamara in the Eliminator than the 2% I have in normal best ball. Looks like we picked up an additional viewer somewhere. Welcome. We'll be back up at 84, 85. Honestly, probably a pretty good spot to take another share of Mooney with London opposite Kyron in week 17, and Penix with an ADP of 143 kind of lines up well with us at 133. I mean, if I were to grab Mooney and I already have the week 17 stack with my third round pick running back, I don't mind the reach here just to make sure I don't get totally locked out of QB. And drafting Lamar, we can shut it down at 2. Really no need to draft a third. Wow. Is it 20 pick reach on Mahomes here? Okay, never mind. I thought this was pick 70. I am tweaking. Let's see what's going to come back to us here. I think, oh, you got to be freaking kidding me, man. Oh, my God. Oh, I like Jaden Reed. Let's do Jaden Reed, and then let's do... Just took Downs, so let's take Egbuka. I'm good with that. We are back up again at 108, 109. We should be able to get Mark Andrews a 1 pick past his ADP. That would be the plan there. I would be... I mean, we could do like Andrews and Rashad Bateman and then just shut it down at receiver, and we're just good with that 6. But Tracy, I'll put at the top. I should put Andrews at the top because we know we're taking him if he's there for sure, and then we can decide. I mean, if Tracy is there, I'm taking him just to kind of help buoy the early running back weeks with Trevion Henderson. Let's pop the board back up again. Unstacked Baker, interesting. Josh Allen unstacked, but you can backstack. Jaden Daniels unstacked. Jalen Hurts unstacked. Now I am far less inclined to reach 10 spots on Penix. What's Pitts' ADP? He's all the way down there. 157. Yeah. I mean, we have the out to Jordan Love as well. I don't love double QBs in the same week 17 game, just because I feel like that's kind of limiting your upside of that game, just going like, you know, really, really crazy. Yeah, I think I still might end up just reaching on Penix, to be honest, and just getting the stack with London, and then just like backstacking him with Pitts, and then maybe throwing in like Tutu Atwell or something at the end of the draft. I mean, would also be pretty happy if Travis Etienne were to make it to me at 108. Well, we will be getting somebody from our top three. We'll be getting both from our top three in that case. All right, well, we're going to take Andrews. We'll be back up at 32-33. What does that ADP look like down there? Tootin, Rashad White. Yeah, I think... Man, this is tough. I think we just go Rashad Bateman, and that will be our Week 17 game. Double stack Lamar with the Jaden Reed bring back. You know, I think when you take Kyron, you're betting on Kyron to be who he's been the last 2 years. Got 2 concurrent viewers in here. If you're in the chat, drop a comment. Let me know who's in the chat. I will say I do like the first 10 rounds of this draft from the 112 than I have the other 2 that I've done. And I think with this draft being from the 112 as well, we can hop into another draft after this one. we can just go ahead and queue up Penix. Queue up Rashad White. Queue up Ray Davis. I think happy with any two of these guys at the next pick. Even Garendo, actually. I'll probably... I just want to double check my exposure on all these guys. I think this one is should be the most up-to-date one. Same thing. Garendo, 10%. Davis, 11%. White, 16. Wow, I did not know I was that much. I had that much Rashad White. I did not know I had that much Rashad White. Interesting. Three picks to go. And I think I do just have to reach on Penix. I mean, like the Mooney guy for sure won't let him get back to me at 156. Yeah, I'm going to take Tajay over these guys. Now the question is, can I backstack some other QB? Yeah, I think I can. I'm going to take Garendo over Penix. No, I lied. I'm going to take Rashad White just to get a unique buy. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like this more than reaching, 10 spots just a single stack Penix. I think I still have some options later, like Tua or Bryce Young or Matthew Stafford. We can just play that to the other side and do Stafford, Kyron, and Tutu Atwell with Drake London on the other side. I think I like that a little better than reaching on Penix. Wow, look at this run of tight ends. This guy just, wow. Kyle Pitts, round ahead of ADP. Sure. Why not? I mean, 5 tight ends in the span of 6 picks. Looking ahead, we have these options here. Definitely interested in Jaden Blue. Interested in Tyler Algier. Interested in Tank Bigsby. Now, let's see. This guy's live to take a third quarterback. I doubt that these guys would be interested in it, although this guy does have Mooney. Is he going to auto? Okay. Well, there's 2 quarterbacks that we are interested in and 3 picks in front of us. All right, well, we'll get one of our QBs. Very happy about that. And depending on which one goes, we'll... Okay. Yeah, let's go Penix and Algier, I think. Yeah, I like that. Actually, let's take Algier first, just so we get an extra pick of ADP value on Penix. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. I think we got a really nice slide there. I like this team quite a bit. Lamar with Rashad and Mark Andrews opposite Jaden Reed. Then Penix, Algier, and London opposite Kyron Williams. I like that a lot. This team, I think, is pretty strong. We got 4 picks to go. We're shutting it down at quarterback. I think this team definitely needs another running back. And I'm so torn on what you do with Mark Andrews. If you put him in 2 tight end rooms or 3 tight end rooms. I think like after Hawkinson, like you just have to go 3 tight end. I mean, maybe if you told me like you don't want Ingram in a 3 tight end, I get that, right? Like the top 100 pick guys, you're spending a top 100 pick, you want them to be the guy, you know. But tight end scoring is just so weird, you know, where it's like as if you catch a touchdown, you're like top 5 on the week. So getting as many shots on goal of having a tight end catch a touchdown. You know, tight end's just really like a volume game. And with like we've seen that in the week 17, the last 2 years. 2 years ago in week 17, you saw like Laporta was the 2nd overall scorer. I mean, he was a 14th round pick, but he had broken out that year, but he was still a 14th round pick. Laporta and Juwan Johnson were the top 2 tight end scorers in week 17. And then last year, I believe like Chigo Okonkwo was like, you know, tight end 3 or something in like week 16, just because he caught like a long touchdown. So tight end scoring is a little fluky with what hits your lineup. I think someone like Will Shipley would be pretty nice. Okay, I should just shut my mouth. Um, let's take Nick Chubb. It lets me take Nick Chubb. There we go. We're back up again at 204, 205. Let's just star Mason Taylor. Yeah, pretty ugly at tight end there. So we'll grab Mason Taylor. We can grab another one back in that range. Actually, maybe if I did a little bit more looking, I would have landed on Justice Hill. That would have been a better pick than Nick Chubb, I believe, but live and you learn. All right, we're getting close to being back up on the clock. I mean, D-Hop would be pretty sick. Just another Ravens guy to stack on there. Make that strong team level bet. I mean, I'm honestly considering doing a 2772 build. Like, do I really feel great about any of these tight ends? Like, no. Yeah, I think this is going to be 2772, just depending on who makes it back to me. I think I would be more than happy to take any of these guys here. I mean, kind of a mega smash. I mean, we're going to get two of these guys, so we are in the clear now. But like D-Hop and Brashard Smith be pretty cool. And that's exactly who we get. D-Hop And Brashard Smith in the 2772 build. I like that a lot. A lot. I like this team a lot. Couple of guys I don't usually take, but I think it's a strong team. You know, in the reality of this team smashes, right? The Ravens are still a top offense with Lamar top 2 in the MVP. The Falcons are, you know, putting up a lot of points with Bijan getting hurt and Algier being the guy there. You know, not too crazy to kind of tell yourself that story. Also add in that week 17 correlation both ways. I do like this team a lot, so we will let this draft finish. I will title it, and then we'll do one more. We'll do one more draft. Let's give this a refresh. Just pop over to the drafts tab. And let us just queue up another puppy. Puppy 2. Next draft started up. Dude, I mean, this is two drafts from the 108, 2 drafts from the 112. I mean, can we get a little bit of help? Anything on the front half of the board? Man. Oh, man. I mean, is the 104 too much to ask for? The 103 too much to ask for? Definitely getting tired now. Well, we did Puka last time. We'll probably do Neighbors this time. Who am I short on? I'm ahead on all these guys. Well, I'm short on Genty. I'm light on McCaffrey, which I don't want to be. Please take Puka, sir. Rick Diggle, you want to take Puka? Yes, thank you. We'll grab a McCaffrey share. Always nice getting potential 101 there. All right, welcome, Alex. You are in at 1. Mr. Plotinick. Interesting. Yeah, this is second puppy from the 108. I think the other 3 have been from the 112. So hoping to get some variety in the draft slots soon, but have not had the luck of the draw to this point. Thanks for tuning into the stream, though. Appreciate you stopping by. If you're still here, how'd you find me? How'd you stumble across the stream? Curious to know how you found out. Good with Derrick Henry or Drake London here. I lied. Give me Drake London. I'll take Derrick Henry. I'm good with that. All right, let's see what Alex is about to do here. Couple of ADP values at running back for him. Bucky and Terry. Interesting. I will be honest with you, Alex. Those are 2 guys that I have been fading. If you're still here and like to defend your stances on those, I'm all ears to listen to other opinions on why people are taking those guys. Those are 2 guys that I have not been taking much at all this year. Pretty happy with Marv or JSN. If not, we'll go with the super high T start, the 3 running back start. All right, we won't be doing the 3 running back start. Take either Marv or JSN. Let's check the exposures real quick. Marvin Harrison, 11%. Let's go Marv, even if we are a little behind on JSN. Yeah, 3.4% JSN opposed to Marv. Bucky's one of the most drafted RBs. I mean, I had like 20% Bucky last year. I was like a huge Bucky bull last year. But I'm a little worried just because like I don't think Rachaad White's going to go anywhere. Like I think he's still going to play third downs. And I think the Bucs coaches themselves have talked about like just not wanting to kill Bucky with the same workload that they did last year. Because I mean, like even last year he got nicked up a little bit. So yeah, no chance of snow games. Yeah, that makes sense. And that week 17 is in Florida. I don't know if they're in Miami or in Tampa for that one, but I know that'll be a Florida game. I agree. Rashad White does suck. I'm not going to argue that with you, but it's like you and I might think he sucks, but it doesn't seem like the Bucks coaches think that he sucks. It's just a matter of not thinking, not saying what we think should happen, or what we would have happen, but what we think the Bucks coaches will have happen. I will take Tet here. I think. Yeah, I'll take Tet. But yeah, I definitely do want to mix in a little bit more Bucky, just because I don't, like he is really good and he's really efficient. But I'm just a little worried about guys who like didn't have like the best draft capital in their draft, and then having a good rookie year, and then jumping like way up on the board. But I do want to take a little bit more. I don't want to be like below 4%, so I do need to start taking some more. Seems like everything else pretty much par for the course so far. Trey McBride's still falling a little bit, which is interesting to see. Alex back up on the clock here. Xavier Worthy and JMO like that. Been taking both of those guys. What is my Williams exposure? 5.7. Yeah, I gotta get that up. I think lately, well, before I was taking a lot of Waddle. Yeah, Sutton snipe there. I'd be interested to see what the combinatorials are on T. Higgins and with him and Jefferson, and him with Chase. Let's see. Do we lean in to the Baltimore stuff, or do we go with Ridley? I think I'm going to go Ridley. I've been warming up to the thought of Calvin Ridley lately. I just think he can get like a pretty stupid target share in Tennessee. I just don't really see any other target earners there. I do need to get better at kind of mixing my bets in this range. I've been pretty polarized with Waddle at 23%. All of this prior to the Jonnu trade and his ADP rise. So pretty happy where I'm at there, and can like probably stop taking him for a little bit. And then obviously, like I said, I am the Chris Olave bull. Let's see what, Naked Burrow, is that what happened over here? Naked Burrow, interesting. Juwan does go. I'm going to pass on Addison until his ADP drops further when they announce the 3-game suspension. I think let's go Judy. Don't have a ton of Jerry Judy. Yeah, 5.7%. You can get that exposure up a little bit. think this range of the draft, kind of once we hit, once Zay Flowers comes off the board, I think this is a pretty fertile run of picks. It feels like really my truth serum is this year will be defined by like rounds 6 through 8. Rounds 6 through 8. Like all of these guys here, like if you just pick the 3 guys in this range that smash, I think the whole year is just defined by that. I mean, you could just see paths to like, Deebo Samuel again. Caleb Johnson is like the RB1 at Pittsburgh. They give him 350 touches. Ricky Pearsall shows he was a first-round pick for a reason. Matthew Golden, first-round pick for the Packers. Isaiah Pacheco was the guy that, we were drafting at 40 last year, and now, he's 40 picks later. Really like that turn there by Nick. I like Caleb Johnson quite a bit. I think the reason I like Caleb Johnson a lot is with Jalen Warren. Like, he's been there for 4 years. If the breakout hasn't happened yet, I'm not going to bet on it happening in year 5. Granted, I think that same kind of mentality burned me on Njoku the last couple of years. Particularly, was that 2 years ago? We had his real breakout year, and he really blew up. I was like, pre-draft, I was like, how many year 7 tight end breakouts have we seen before? But he did. But like I said, Caleb Johnson, really good. Collegiate profile, shown that he can handle a large workload, and Jalen Warren has just been pretty underwhelming in his career to this point. Deebo comes off the board there. He's who I would have taken, but I'm more than happy taking the homer pick here in Golden. I think pretty happy with Kyler if he makes it back to us here. I think nothing really jumping out to me at wide receiver. I don't really think Mooney does much for me as the wide receiver 6 on this team. I mean, Pollard would be interesting and kind of fits with the Titans stack, but honestly, what's our Kyler exposure? 8% Kyler. Can't type. Cam Ward 9%. You can kind of go either way. Pollard comes off the board, so it doesn't even matter. All the guys I would have considered, Egbuka, Pollard, Hawkinson, Downs, all gone. So happy to take Kyler there. I think pretty happy with the team so far. And pretty different from the team that I just built at the 108 about an hour ago. So happy to keep mixing up our bets. We got our boy Alex up in 1 pick. Lots of options for him. With the 2-4-1, really flexible. Can do really much whatever he wants. Jordan Mason, love that pick. Oh man, Travis Etienne sniped me there. Yeah, not really feeling anything at wide receiver here. Think I'm just happy to take Tracy. Back up in a couple picks here on the short side of the board. I mean, we have Love available to us. Love with that ADP of 127. Think pretty good chance that we can get him there. So maybe we pull up like Tucker Kraft. Where did Jaden Reed go? Jaden Reed went here to the Brock Purdy drafter. Does not have a tight end. I don't think we get Love if we let him go. So I think I'm just going to reach on Love. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm pretty good at running back, although as much as I love Luther Burden, I'm pretty happy to take Jordan Love here and match him up with Golden and hope that we can get Kraft. And we can play that Week 17 matchup with Derrick Henry. Back-to-back drafts, stacking that Week 17 game. Think I'm very happy to grab Tucker Kraft on the way back. Very happy to take Tyjae Spears as well. And I think we can still take Cam Ward too at 162. I think that's a fine pick. We got our boy Nick back up here in 3 seconds. Goff, yeah, really nice Goff fall. Yeah. I thought Goff's ADP was like 111. Still, either way, really nice to pair him up with JMO and Laporta. Sweet. Love that. Complete that Packers stack and gives me the Week 17 correlation with Derrick Henry. Pretty pumped about that. And then back up in a couple picks here. We can pretty much do whatever we want. We can go running back or receiver. Had a draft yesterday where I started Neighbors, Genty, McLaurin, JSN. Yeah, I got the two, not the draft I just did for this, 2 drafts ago. I got Genty at 17. I mean, I've not been taking a ton of him at pick 11, but if Genty's gonna keep falling into like that mid-second, I'll keep drafting him there. I'd be more than happy to take him at 17. I kind of want to avoid. Okay, I don't even have to bother with Loveland. Actually, you know what? Let's take Benson with our Cardinal stuff. Really like this team that you're cooking here, Alex. Love the Jordan Mason pick. As you can see, I am big time Jordan Mason bull. I was a big Ty Chandler bull last year, and basically just I'm like, you know, fading Aaron Jones. I think he gets hurt quite a bit, so I think Jordan Mason is just running the Ty Chandler bet back with a better running back than Ty Chandler, so more than happy to keep clicking him. Alex back up on the clock here in 4 seconds. Quinn Johnson, that's a guy that I've been trying to take a little bit more of. I'm not sure how familiar you are with like Davis Maddock or like Flock Fantasy, but they did a draft together, and Mason Dodd was saying like Quinn Johnson is his #1 most drafted player, and they kind of ran like a statistical first 2-year comparison, and like some really good names that Quentin Johnson like found himself with, like it's like Des Bryant, Hakeem Nicks. Saw BTJ go at 18 today. Yeah, I mean, BTJ was a guy. He was another high owned guy. I was like 25% BTJ last year. I was like really big into him, and you know, ultimately the bet didn't pay off because I did not have a lot of Saquon. Last year wasn't about who you drafted, but more so who you didn't draft. Very happy to take Likely here. Second tight end, another week 17 guy. Yeah, Mason was, I mean, I don't want to say he converted me to be a QJ guy, but definitely opened my mind up to taking a little bit more of him than I have been. I was looking at hey, I'm glad you decided to join. I'm just getting started in this streaming endeavor, so if you, I would appreciate a sub. I'm gonna try to stream most days to get my volume in. I'm gonna stop drafting on my phone. I'm gonna make it a habit to stop doing that. So whenever I'm on the computer, I'll just turn the stream on. So yeah, I'm like pretty much in lockstep with you there. I was at like 20% Bucky. I had like less than 2% of Saquon, and I was at like 4% Derrick Henry. So yeah, you were not the only one. Sounds like we had pretty similar portfolios last year. Bryce Young off the board. Now the question is, do I want to do a third quarterback on this team? Like I think probably shouldn't, just with spending a top 100 pick on Kyler and then reaching on Love. We can pull up Wandell. Also had 3% Chase Brown. So last year, my whole thing with Chase Brown was I was split right down the middle. I was like, for the majority of the summer, I was like 12% Chase Brown and then like 10% Zach Moss. Like essentially, like whenever I took Chase Brown in a draft, the next draft, if I was in that range, I would take Zach Moss. Just because I didn't know, and I didn't want to be so polarized. Like I didn't have any confidence about either of them. I just knew that, hey, the RB1 of the Bengals is probably a pretty lucrative guy to have. You know, they're both going in like the 10th and 11th round or something. So I was not like super overweight Chase Brown. But again, right, like even if you were overweight Chase Brown, like if you were just fading Saquon hard like you and I were, and Derrick Henry hard like you and I were, it didn't matter. Those guys just smashed at such a high, crazy level. But yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate you being in the stream and chatting it up a little bit. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate you hitting the subscribe button and tuning in when you can if you're bored and want to watch somebody do some drafts. All right, back up here shortly. I think this is a team we can shut down at 5 running backs. I think we're pretty resigned to staying at 2 quarterbacks. So looking at a 2-5-8-3 build. Pat Bryant goes, so I think this is just Michael Wilson stacked with Kyler. Not going to let me star him, that's fine. Fine with Michael Wilson there. We are back up in 4 picks here. I think Will Shipley is probably a good pick if he makes it back to me. Let's get that out of here. Will Shipley will not make it back to me. Yeah, you know what? Let's take De'Ami Brown. Good reports out of camp for De'Ami Brown. Potential that maybe Travis Hunter just doesn't play as much wide receiver as everybody thinks he's going to. happy with Dylan Sampson, with Brashard Smith. I would have really liked to have grabbed Gesicki here at 176 and then push Wilson to get some of that Week 17 correlation with Cardinals-Bengals. So we will probably just be locked out of that game. I really don't have much of an interest in drafting Andre Yoshivas. Ooh, Shadur. Interesting. Alex is calling his shot. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I am looking for any reason to take Shadur. Like, once I get any kind of like positive camp news that he's going to make the team, I will definitely start mixing in some like round 18 Shadur Sanders, because I think he's going to play games. I just don't see Kenny Pickett doing anything. What do we got here? I think this is just Marshawn Lloyd. We've already made our Packers bet. I'm happy to take Marshawn Lloyd, and then we can end this with a tight end. I think I mean, I don't love Dalton. Okay, good. I didn't want to take Dalton Schultz. I mean, he's going to run a ton of routes, but probably going to be like the fifth option on that offense. Yeah, yeah, totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Yeah, like if they're bad, like they could just like throw the ball 40 times a game. You know, like if Buffalo just goes in there and just stomps them, and Quinshon Judkins isn't doing much on the ground, it's like, yeah, let's just air it out. Let's just we're down 4 touchdowns. Yeah, and I think like kind of overconfidence in teams being bad is like always something that just like comes back and bites drafters. Um, like a couple years ago, everybody was avoiding the Browns because of their Week 17 game, and like that was the game you needed. Aronde Gadsden, look at that. Ooh, man. Let's go Jatavion. I think I have more Jawan than Jatavion, so we'll do that. All right, little team recap here at the end. Quarterbacks, we got Kyler Murray and Jordan Love. Running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Tyrone Tracy, Trey Benson, Marshawn Lloyd. Wide receiver, we have Marvin Harrison, Tedero McMillan, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Matthew Golden, Wan'Dale Robinson, Michael Wilson, De'Ami Brown. And the tight ends are Tucker Kraft, Isaiah Likely, and Jatavion Sanders. We have Love stacked up with Lloyd, Golden, and Kraft, with Henry and Isaiah Likely on the other side of that game for Week 17. And then we have Kyler with Benson, Marv, and Michael Wilson. So, happy with this team. Don't do a lot of RB starts. but, you know, about to take Deontay Johnson too. I mean, like round 18 dart throw of like, you know, who do you think is going to be the number 2 guy in Cleveland? Like, I don't know, is Cedric Tillman legit? I haven't been taking any Cedric Tillman. Like, he was good for 4 games. You know what I mean? Like, do we have enough confidence of like a 4-game sample size of Cedric Tillman being good that like, you know, where is he going? He's like, you know, 12th round. You know, like, who's to say that Jatavion just doesn't, or Deontay just doesn't beat out Cedric Tillman? Let's take a look at Alex's final team here. Baker, Goff, Shador, Bucky, Caleb, Jordan Mason, Roshan, Dylan Sampson. I like this running back room a lot. These are 4 guys that, like, I'm ahead on all 4 of these guys. Exactly. Yeah, right? And that's pretty similar to, like, teams that draft, like, you know, teams that are drafting Tootin and Bigsby, right? You know, they're going to be good. Or teams that are drafting Etienne and Bigsby, right? They're getting, you know, the Jags RB1, right? Or they're going to build the Jags RB1 on the aggregate, you know, but you're making that same bet at wide receiver just a lot cheaper than those guys. Jamar, McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Jameson Williams, Kirk, Tillman, and QJ. I like this wide receiver room a lot as well. And then Laporta and Otten. Yeah, strong team. Stacked up. I like this team a lot. So my RBs are solid dudes, but not super deep. I mean, yeah, you know, like, this is kind of the way that drafts are shaking out this year, that this is the reality that we live in, where it's like, you know, we have to make a bet on somebody in these first 2 rounds. You know, like almost all of these teams are taking a running back in the first 2 rounds. Like, I think like the true 0 RB is dead. I don't know how familiar you are with like RotoViz and the work they do, but I think, like, you know, they said last year that we reached like peak 0 RB drafting of like 40% of drafters were doing 0 RB, and that just doesn't exist anymore. It's like, you got to make your bet on someone. So if you're making your bet on Jonathan Taylor, you're making your bet on Ashton Genty, it's like, you know, it's going to be a while until you take your next guy. Jamar and Terry won me $300 in the Monday night draft last year. Yeah, I mean, I had the 2 showdown DFS slates that I had chopped first place with last year were the Jamar Dallas Cowboy game that he went off in that one, and then Jamar versus the Ravens, where he had like 220 yards and 3 touchdowns or something ridiculous. So, all right, I think that is going to be it for me. Did 4 puppies tonight, so I will definitely be back most likely tomorrow doing some more puppies. Might mix in an eliminator, but outside of that, Alex, appreciate you joining and shooting the breeze for a little bit while doing a puppy.